In this chapter, let us understand about ONDC or Open Network for Digital Commerce. This is one of the unique, I would say, initiative in India in which the e-commerce is getting unbundled and is being built onto an open network, solving for some of the population level problems that some of the monopolies in e-commerce companies have created. So let us look at what is ONDC and how it will work. So ONDC is Open Network for Digital Commerce. So it's a not-for-profit initiative to promote open networks for all aspects of the exchange of goods and services, e-commerce over digital or electronic networks for a US $200 billion opportunity by 2027. So this is an amount of opportunity which ONDC plans to solve for. So it's a non-for-profit initiative which will provide an open network for any type of goods and services. Let us take some of the examples which it will solve for. So goods could be, right? It could be anything, like you want to order for any, say any physical thing, right? Any like bed, could be laptop, could be AC, could be anything, right? So this is good. Services, which means it could also cater to ticket booking, to flight booking, to hotel booking, to those kind of services, right? To food delivery application. So those kind of things will get solved through open network, and nobody will rule this network. It will be equal for all, and the only thing that will rule is your service delivery, is your price, and I would say the retailers will have equal access to list themselves onto the ONDC network, and then customers will have equal access to search from many other platforms rather than just one or two e-commerce platforms. So that's what ONDC aims to solve for. It is to be based on open sourced methodology using open specification and open network protocols independent of any specific platform, which means that there will be not a single platform, unlike now where there are one or two e-commerce platform which just puts in a lot of money and through which a lot of sellers are not able to register themselves, not able to rank their business onto those platforms because they have their own rules. So this will be on the basis of open source systems, so that any seller can register themselves, and then also the buyers can search anything that they want to search, being a platform agnostic kind of a business. So beyond the current platform centric digital commerce model, where the buyer and sellers have to use the same platform or application to be digitally visible and do a business transaction. So currently what is happening is that there are few e-commerce companies, the big global e-commerce companies, which provides an application on through which the buyer will have to register themselves on that application, and the sellers will also need to download that application. Now at ONDC, what happens, even though let's say you are downloading an application for say one of the company, but even in that company you should be able to search for the product by other companies as well, not the sellers but other companies or other I would say the websites as well. So that is the beauty of open network, that there will be no monopoly and only the open network protocols, systems and principles will prevail. It also standardizes the operations like cataloging, inventory management, order management and order fulfillment. So currently what happens, each platform have their own system. The buyer will have to learn for each platform that, okay, on this platform I have to upload my catalog in this manner. This is the pricing system. Then you go to another platform, they have a different system. So now currently it will have a standard catalog system, and everyone will have to kind of follow that process only. And then it is to make a e-commerce more inclusive and accessible for consumers, which is touted as the next UPI like system. So ONDC is also considered as the next UPI. So UPI is also a unified payment interface, which is an open and interoperable payment system through which you can make a payment from SBI to on a platform to from SBI account. So for example, if I have an ICICI bank account and I want to make a payment from my SBI account through using the ICICI mobile application, I can do that. So that is the beauty of open network or open payments, is that within the same platform you can do the transaction of different business as well. That's what open network means. Consumers can potentially discover any seller, product or service by using any compatible application or platform. Thus increases the freedom of choice for consumers, which means that they are no more bound to use any single platform. They can go to any platform and they can start using this. So National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, NPCI, SDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Axis Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bank, SIDBI, NABARD, QCI or Quality Council of India, Protein, e-governance, CDSL are a few initial institutions committed to participate and contribute to this network. So these institutions believe that there will be some value which ONDC will deliver to the buyers and also to the sellers, and hence they have a commitment that they want to participate and contribute to this network for digital commerce. So around 80 firms are working to integrate market players with the ONDC platform, making the enterprise software an app for sellers, buyers, logistics platform, and payment gateways. So how this will work, we will look into the diagram and then you will realize that what ONDC is and why we are saying that this is the next UPI moment into the e-commerce segment. So the companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy, and other service fulfillment and delivery partners may be part of the ecosystem to improve the efficiency of the ecosystem. So what happens, there could be Amazon, there could be Zomato, which could participate onto this ONDC platform, and then there will be Swiggy as well, there will be Zepto as well, there will be other companies as well which provides the delivery services. So what you can also do is, let us take an example. You want to purchase, say, a bottle from, say, one of the provider or one of the buyer. Now what you do is that you see, okay, I see that this buyer is charging very high on delivery, and then you see, okay, do I see that is there, say, this company which provides logistics, is it available there? It says yes, we are available in this network, in this vicinity. So what you do, you buy a bottle from that website, you click on the delivery partner. So even though the seller which is selling the bottle and the delivery partner, both of them are not interlinked or they do not work with each other, still if the customer selects, what happens, the delivery partner will go to that seller, will pick up that bottle and deliver to the customer. So which is like unbundling. Currently what happens that whenever you order on one platform, it is their logistics service provider that they choose is efficient or they have a tie-up with, only they deliver. But here everything is getting unbundled. You can pick up the product from any seller. There will be a separate, I would say, logistics service provider. There will be a separate, I would say, a review service provider or a registry which will manage the review. So there are 4 parts into ONDC. One part is the buyer side, in which there will be an interface on which all the buyers like you and me, everybody who wants to buy certain things will get onboarded or will search. So it's a search user interface for buyers. Then there will be a seller side interface. So what seller side interface does is that they onboard the sellers, they provide them services, they help them to catalog their products. So they are the seller side. Third is a technology service provider or gateway. What they do is that they broadcast the search result to the buyers. So for example, let's say I want to search for a shirt. So that search request now gets broadcasted to the network to all the sellers, and all the sellers who are selling shirt with those parameters will show onto the search network. Then what I do is that then I see, okay, what is the review mechanism or what is the review of this shirt. Now, since it's an open platform, there will be a separate, I would say, company which specializes in managing reviews or it specializes in capturing reviews in a, I would say, a different in an open and transparent manner, will start showing the review for that shirt onto that platform. So currently what happens, for example, let's say you want to buy a shirt of brand A. So brand A will have some review on, say, platform A, but on platform B, there will be no review of the same brand. So now what happens is that in order to look for that review, now you have to switch platforms, right? You have to download different application. Here what happens is a central registry. So if there is a shirt of brand A, regardless of which platform that shirt is being sold, the user can share the review for that brand. And whenever you want to see the review of that brand, whether you are on A's website or B website or C website, the registry will pull up and will give you the information or the review on that shirt. So buyers and sellers can transact on ONDC irrespective of whether they are attached to any specific e-commerce portal. So that is also unbundling, that the buyer and seller can transact on Open Network for Digital Commerce or on any other platform. It doesn't matter whether they are attached to any specific e-commerce portal or application or not. So for instance, even if a seller A is registered on platform X while the customer is registered on platform B, the consumer can directly purchase product of seller A without registering on platform X from the ONDC. So that was an example that I was talking about, that even if you are on different platform and you want to order something which is not registered on platform X, still you can buy that. That's the interoperability we are talking about through ONDC. So look at this example and you will realize what we are talking about on ONDC. And as reported, Google is in talks with the Indian government to integrate its shopping services with the network. So even Google is thinking that how they can kind of get benefited from this ONDC and what value they can add. So in ONDC, an institution can become a buyer side, a merchant side interface, gateway to broadcast the search request from buyer to seller side interface, and technology service provider software and other technical add-ons for the other three roles. So these are different roles that companies and an individual and a buyer and seller can kind of play. Even there could be some system through which the analytics can be done, that how much a buyer has sold. If they want to check, how much I have sold, I want to file a return onto my transaction. So there could be different technology service provider that can get integrated. So currently what happens, the same platform gives the review, same platform gives the catalog, same platform gives analytics, give everything under one umbrella. Now what is happening through ONDC is that these individual services are getting unbundled, and there are specialized institutions which will be offering these services as a standalone service, and the user has an option that if they want to club it, how do they want to bundle it or create their own experience. However, on the ONDC, there are a few questions that people are asking, that who owns the experience, the liability if anything goes wrong, what will be the service delivery mechanism, what happens if there is a complaint that being lodged and the buyer says that I am not ready to take the refund back, or I am not ready to return the product. So what happens in that case? Who decides the marketplace rule? Because ONDC does not decide the rule. It's just an open platform, provides a platform to interact with each other. So kind of a marketplace. And then these are some of the few questions that needs to be addressed before this ONDC become mainstream and even the buyers and sellers start seeing value into this. So now let us look at the platform flow, that how ONDC will work. So look at this platform and understand it really well, because if you understand this diagram well, you will be able to understand the crux of the ONDC. So one side is the buyer. If you look at the top, there is a buyer. Then there is a buyer side, I would say, application. Then there is a buyer side super application. So what happens is that there could be a super application under which there could be multiple small applications as well. So what happens is that then there is a gateway which will broadcast the buyer's request to the seller, and then there are retail, logistic and hospitality service provider. Then there could be seller side app aggregator, seller side application. So aggregator, what it does is that they, for example, let's say if you are a company and you say, okay, I have network with sellers. So what you do is that you onboard those sellers into your application. Now you have onboarded them on application. Now you have to link that on the ONDC platform. So what you do is that since you can't do that directly, you can go to an aggregator which will aggregate multiple companies like you to the ONDC network. And that is the role of seller side app as an aggregator. Similar is the role of buyer side, I would say, aggregator or buyer side super application as well. And once that is done, then what happens is that the seller side application could be a supermarket, could be a kirana store, could be a retailer, could be a logistic provider, could be other service provider as well. So ONDC network services will have a registry. So registry means that review registry and all those kind of things. Then there will be network policies, that how network will work, how nobody can actually game the system, everybody is equal. and no manipulation can happen that this seller will be on the top and this seller will be at the bottom. So those kind of policies. Then reputation ledger, that what is the reputation of this buyer onto the network, how he or she has been performing while selling the product, whether they take care of the return or not, whether they refund the money or not, and how fast is their service, etc. Then there are other data ledger through which you can actually identify that how much you have spent over a period of time, and similarly buyer can see that how much they have sold over a period of time. Then there could be inter-network interoperability as well, where they want to see that, okay, if from the example of X and Y, that even if the buyer is not registered on application X but on application Y, but still the user, regardless of the application or regardless of the platform, can see each other and make a transaction. Then there will be a payment processor which will ensure that there could be a payment. For example, there could be companies like PayU, or could be a payment aggregator or a payment gateways like Paytm, which will provide payment services onto that platform. For example, there could be multiple platform, and if you think, okay, I feel that I want to pay by PayU or Paytm or by BillDesk or any other application or payment service provider, you can choose that as well. So again, this is just unbundling the system. There is also a concept of OCEN into ONDC. Why? Because OCEN, as we understood, that it gives loan to the MSMEs and also to the individuals. Now just club ONDC with OCEN. Now what happens is that even the sellers will be able to avail loan on the basis of certain data. And now OCEN is also connected with account aggregator. Now realize that if a retailer wants to take a loan, now what happens is that it goes to the OCEN network, and the platform on which the seller is selling the product become the loan service provider or LSP. It connects to the OCEN network. OCEN then sends a request to the account aggregator. Account aggregator then sends the retailer's information to the lender. Lender underwrites using their business rule engine and LMS and LOS systems, and then they process the loan to the retailer. Similarly, the buyer can also kind of apply for a loan, and the same process happens. The information get broadcasted to the OCEN network. OCEN then sends a request from account aggregator to send the information to the lender. Account aggregator does its work, and then everything is done and the loan is processed. So that is the, I would say, the connection of ONDC, OCEN and account aggregator platform, and that's how it can become robust. And again, there could be privacy protected exchange of data, which means there could be a privacy service provider as well, which can secure the data of the customers. So you must be hearing that the data was leaked by this e-commerce company. So many card data had got leaked, and now people are misusing those card information. So even those kind of services can be unbundled and be provided by a specialized agency. So we still have to see that what will be the business model, how it will be profitable, whether it will be able to make unit economics to different participants. Because if you're working with a large company, right, or if you're providing a service to a large company, what happens, the more you scale, the unit cost start making sense. But here what is happening, there are smaller service provider. If they are not able to scale, then they will not be able to make profits, and in turn they will charge higher, bringing the inefficiency into the system. So again, there are multiple questions that needs to be answered before this starts making dent to the existing system and also to the global e-commerce companies. So that was about ONDC. It is still into the nascent phase. As we get more information, we will keep updating this course on different aspects of Indian fintech ecosystem. So that's all onto the ONDC. Thank you so much for subscribing to this course. Thank you and take care, and see you into our next course.